Hello everybody. We all use Windows in one way or another, and we all know the problem that at some point the system becomes cluttered, dirty, and requires a reinstallation, as it's often the only effective solution. But here we face some problems. For example, do you know where to download Windows? Do you know how to activate it? I'm not worried about the time it takes to find and install the required software and drivers. Do you also dislike having to disable a bunch of useless applications and spend a lot of time figuring out how to disable annoying updates? Because of these problems, we keep postponing the reinstallation. But if you want to know a good way how to deal with it, then Igor is here. In this video, I will show you how to create your own custom Windows ISO, the right Windows. A custom Windows it is a file with extension .iso that you can use to create a bootable flash drive, for example with Rufus, and install the system. However, instead of obtaining it from the official Microsoft website, you're downloading it from another source or create it yourself. And if you're more experienced in this field, you probably already know about existing custom builds such as FleBooster, RevOS, AtlasS, or Tiny 10 and 11. Despite their claimed low resource usage and high speed, they can have issues with stability, and moreover, you might not know what's inside these builds. They could potentially contain malware codes that you will never detect, and this is why a really good way is create your own .iso file. So let's start. For this you need a flash drive, some programs, and this video. Firstly, let's install VirtualBox. It is the most popular cross-platform open source virtualization software. But if you're interested in my opinion and it's only for Linux users, I highly recommend you to use KVM. Now let's install ImgBurn. Unfortunately, it's not open source solution, and I'm not very happy about it. But after spending a lot of time, I couldn't find anything better. And yes, I tried WinSendEmu. It's really cool open source solution, but it records data to the disk in old ISO 9660 format, which won't allow us to create an image. Now let's move on to the most exciting part. We need to download the official Windows 10 image that we will be modifying. And here I have two options, I will show you both. The first option is to download the regular Windows 10 Pro from the Microsoft website. It will be the same version that you already use on your PC, with a bunch of unused software and annoying updates. But I don't really like this method. This is why the second option is to download the Windows 10 LTSC. What version is that? Windows 10 LTSC doesn't come with pre-installed apps, such as Cortana, News, Microsoft Store, and etc. You can easily use it on your workstation, and it comes with several advantages, such as no annoying pre-installed apps, slightly faster performance, uses less space on your disk, and you won't be bothered by frequent updates, you will mainly get imported security ones. The only problem is that this version is more for businesses, so it's really hard to get the license key. But as this video is for educational purposes only, I will show you where you can get the image and how to activate any version of Windows. First, let me show you where to download the regular Windows 10 ISO file. To do this, let's visit the Microsoft website. But here we won't be able to download the ISO, so let's use a little trick. Go to Inspect and click the small button at the top. You will see the mobile version. Choose any phone in the dimensions, refresh the page and close the inspector. Now select Windows 10, the language, and 64-bit. Finally, let's download Windows 10 LTSC. For this we will use Microsoft Activation Scripts. It is a very cool and popular repository on GitHub that helps us to download different Windows versions and then easily activate them. Of course, this solution is open source. I keep mentioning this But what does open source mean and why is it so important? Simply, it's software with code that anyone can see. This doesn't guarantee that no dangerous code exists in such projects, but having open code makes security audits much easier, unlike proprietary software. That's why it's essential to avoid various KMS activators and some other programs, as you will never know what else might be hidden in them. I will talk about open source more in my future videos. Let's go to the Microsoft Activation Scripts repository. Here we need to go to their website using the link on the right. Here you can read about how everything works, but we need the download button. In this list, we need to choose Windows 10 LTSC. And at the bottom, select Windows 10 IoT 2021. Alright, we've downloaded the file, but can we trust it? No, we can't. So let's verify that this file was created by Microsoft itself and hasn't been modified by anyone else. To do this, we need to take the hash of the file. It might sound scary and complicated, but it's not true. It's an optional step, but I highly recommend you to do this for practice. So what is a hash? It's a unique identifier for a file. If changes were made to the ISO, the original hash provided by the application manufacturer, and the modified file will show different values. To find hashes for all Windows versions, there is a website, and to find the hash of our file, we will use a specific command. This is a website where you can find many hash codes for a different version of Windows. Click on the search button. Now in the folder with the ISO file, press Shift and the right mouse button. Then select PowerShell. Enter the command, use the dot and tab for auto-completion of the file name. Copy the hash and paste it on the website. As we can see, the names are the same, so the file hasn't been modified. And yes, by the way, this is why I've chosen Windows 10 for this guide instead of Windows 11, simply because there is no Windows 11 LTSC available yet. But even when it arrives, you will still be able to use this guide without any issues, because it's universal. Now I have everything you need to create ISO file. Let's get started. Let's create a virtual machine for this. Click on Create, enter the name, select the Windows ISO, and check this box. I will allocate 4 GB of memory, 2 cores, and 30 GB of space. Now you need to insert a USB stick to your computer. We will later use it to save our ISO file, and depending on its size, you will need to have about 6 or 7 GB of free space on it. You can put on this flash your drivers, like scripts or other files, if you want to include them in the final build. As an example, I will create a folder called Secret. In order for the virtual machine to recognize the flash drive, we need to go to the settings, USB, click on the green plus button and select the flash drive. Start the virtual machine, and if you have a large monitor, you can zoom in on the screen. Go to the view, then select Virtual Screen 1 and click on Scale. Here simply repeat the actions, everything will be the same for you. I'm choosing the IoT version because it will support for a longer time. Now you'll need to wait for the system to install, and after the reboot you will see the region selection menu. Here, press Ctrl-Shift-F3. You will boot into audit mode. Here we will modify our system and then create an ISO from it. Now push this window aside, as we won't need it for now. Unfortunately, there are some problems that I don't know how to solve. In this system, there is only one application, which is of course Microsoft Edge, and I couldn't remove it without additional programs. But I don't want to use those, and I'm very disappointed that I can't uninstall the application on my computer. The second problem is that without extra software or using the registry, if you configure the system, those settings will be lost. And I'm pretty sure that this is happening because we are changing the system from the admin and we need to change it probably for everyone, but I haven't found a way how to do this. And thirdly, if you create a file and place it in a specific location in the system, it will be saved. It will be included in the final build. But with applications we have a different situation. For example, if you download Steam, it will also be saved, so we won't need to download it again. But unfortunately, I don't know why, if you download Discord and create an ISO file, install the system, Discord disappears. And I couldn't figure out which applications would be saved and which wouldn't. So, to save a lot of your time, I will show you a way out of this situation. And if you have ideas on how to solve the first two issues, feel free to write about it in the comments. The most useful ones I will put in the top. To solve this third problem, we can download installers. They will be saved, and when you install your system, you will simply need to click on these files to install all the applications. But if you want more, I highly recommend you to use Ninite. It is a website that gained a great reputation. You can choose the applications you want to install, and it will generate a single file that will install all the selected applications for you. Let's go to the Ninite website. Here, for example, I will choose 3 applications. And after a short pause, we get our installer. If you run it, it will start installing the selected applications. We need to put it in a specific folder, so that it is available during normal system installation. If we just leave it in the downloads folder, it will disappear. Copy it and go to this PC, Disk C, Users, and here we need to activate hidden files to see the default folder. Here you can choose the location where our file will be located. Now let's save our secret folder. For this you need to place it in a specific location. Here we also have to put our secret folder in user/default. Now let me show you how to activate this system. Unfortunately, if you will do this now, the activation will be lost. So you can skip this step when creating the ISO file. You will have to activate the system after installing it. As you can see, our system is not activated. To do this, we will use Microsoft activation scripts again. Let's choose the recommended method. We need to open PowerShell from the administrator and paste the command. Here I will select permanent activation. Press the number 1. After waiting, we can see that the system is activated, but you will still need to activate it again. And that's it. Activating the system has never been this easy. Now we are ready to finish the setup and get the ISO file. Now, in this window, we have to click Generalize and select Shutdown. Start virtual machine and when you will see this black window, press Enter. Now we need to open SIMD. To do this, press Shift F10. Now let's write these commands to find out what letters our disks have. We need to enter these commands, but replacing the letters D and E with yours. The flash drive has a size of 128 GB and label flash with letter D. And our Windows disk was 30 GB, so I choose E. Now we are waiting for a very long time. If at this stage you have some kind of error, then just restart the virtual machine again and do all the steps from the beginning. When we see that everything is successful, we can close the virtual machine. Now we have the core of the system. We have to open LTSC ISO and replace their kernel with ours. So let's mount the ISO. Copy its contents to the new Windows copy folder. In it, go to Sources and delete install.vim. And copy our install ESD. Now we need to create an ISO from the folder. And to do this, I will use ImgBurn. Click here. Select our folder. Change the file system. Go to Advanced and click here. Select a boot image. Boot etfcboot.com. Sectors to load 8. Click here and choose where our ISO will be. This file can be deleted. And now, let me show you what we've achieved in the end. For this I will quickly create a virtual machine. Here I just install Windows as usual. As you can see, we have our Ninite on the desktop, and after clicking, it started installing our applications. And there is our secret folder in the documents. I will slightly improve appearance of the system. And as I said, our system is not activated. I will follow these steps as before to activate the system. As you can see, the system is activated. Done. Now you can create a bootable flash drive and use your own ISO file. I really hope that this guide was clear and useful to you and you didn't encounter many issues while following the steps. If you have any questions, feel free to ask them in the comments. And if you want to support me, you can subscribe to this channel. And sincere appreciation to all my patrons. See you in the next video. Good luck!